Have you ever experienced a silence so profound, so all-encompassing, that it felt as if the entire world had paused to take a breath? In those rare moments, the absence of sound doesn't feel empty at all. Instead, it feels charged with meaning, as if something unseen and ancient is speaking to you. Many people have felt this: a sudden hush in a forest at dawn, the peaceful stillness before a storm, or the quiet that falls over a crowd when a moment of reverence is shared. Such silences are not just the absence of noise, but are, in their own way, prayers without words. Today, we journey into one of humanity's oldest and most mysterious forms of worship, one that exists beyond sound, beyond language, the rituals of silence. From the earliest days of human civilization, silence has been a language in itself. Before words were invented, before stories were spoken, people communicated through presence, through gaze, through gesture, and, above all, through silence. Silence was never simply a void or an empty space. It was a form of connection, a way to express reverence, wisdom, and even love. In many ancient cultures, silence was considered the highest form of respect, a way to honor the sacred and to listen deeply to the world and to oneself. Take, for example, the Tibetan practice known as the fast of the mind. In Tibetan tradition, practitioners would refrain not only from speaking, but also from engaging in unnecessary thought. This was not done to escape reality, but to tune in to the deeper currents of consciousness, to experience the world as it truly is, without the distortions of constant chatter. Similarly, in India, the concept of mauna, the vow of silence, is revered as a spiritual discipline. Mauna is more than just not speaking. It is a state of existence beyond words, where the heart becomes the true voice. In this tradition, silence itself is a prayer, a sacred echo heard only by the soul. Across the world, silence has been woven into the fabric of spiritual practice. In ancient Egypt, priests would keep prolonged periods of silence before entering the temple for rituals. They believed that only through silence could they prepare themselves to utter the sacred words that would connect them to the divine. Without the stillness of silence, those words would have no power. They would be mere sounds. The silence was the canvas upon which the prayer was painted. The Greek philosopher Pythagoras is famous for many things, but perhaps less well known is his insistence on silence as a path to wisdom. His students were required to abstain from speaking for the first 5 years of their training. This was not a punishment, but a preparation. Pythagoras believed that wisdom did not come from outside, from books or lectures, but from within. He told his students, "Listen not to words, but to silence. In that silence, the mind settles, the heart opens, and true knowledge can arise." In the ancient Aztec tradition, prayer was often conducted in thoughts rather than spoken aloud. The Aztecs believed that raising one's voice disturbed the wind, and even the wind deserved peace. By praying in silence, they honored nature and the unseen forces that govern life. Their silent prayers were no less powerful than spoken ones. In fact, they were considered more respectful and more likely to be heard by the gods. Silence is not always peaceful. Sometimes it brings discomfort, even fear. In the quiet, there is nowhere to hide from oneself. Thoughts rise up, questions echo in the mind. What am I doing? Who am I? Where am I going? But this confrontation is precisely the point of silence rituals. By removing distractions and noise, these practices force us to face ourselves honestly, to listen to the deepest truths that lie within. Modern silence retreats, meditation camps, and periods of intentional quiet are all inspired by these ancient practices. In these spaces, 1 minute of absolute stillness can become the most powerful prayer you'll ever make. There is a transformation that occurs when the mind is quiet, when the heart is given space to speak. Silence is a bridge across cultures and continents. In Zen Buddhism, silence is central to spiritual practice. Monks spend hours, sometimes days, in complete silence, listening only to the sound of their own breathing. They say that in the rhythm of breath, they can hear the heartbeat of the universe. The absence of words allows them to perceive reality without distortion, to experience the sacred in every moment. Among the Dogon people of Africa, silence is used to honor wisdom. After learning something sacred, a day of silence is observed. This is done not to keep secrets, but to honor the weight of knowledge, to allow it to settle and transform the soul. The silence is a way of showing that wisdom is not something to be flaunted or spoken about lightly, but something to be cherished and absorbed. The Mevlevi Sufi tradition brings another beautiful perspective. For the Sufis, silence is not simply the absence of noise, but the rest of the heart. It is a kind of inner whirling, a dance of the soul that happens in the quiet. In their ceremonies, moments of silence are woven between music and movement, allowing the participants to experience the divine in ways that words cannot capture. Today, silence is a rare luxury. In a world filled with constant noise, notifications, conversations, traffic, background hums, true silence is hard to find. Yet more and more people are seeking it out. Silent retreats, meditation camps, even simple acts like turning off your phone for an hour are becoming modern rituals of silence. These practices are not about escaping the world, but about returning to balance. When the mind quiets, the heart begins to speak. In the stillness, we can hear the wisdom that is always present, but often drowned out by the noise of daily life. What does a wordless prayer look like? It is setting an intention without saying it aloud. It is wishing someone well in thought alone, sending love and compassion without uttering a single word. It is making a wish on a falling star silently. Sometimes, it is simply breathing, and that breath itself becomes a prayer. The beauty of silence is that it speaks every language, and everyone understands it. There is a story about a monk who was asked what prayer sounded like. He replied, "It sounds like silence." The deepest prayers are not spoken, they are lived. They are felt in the quiet moments before dawn, in the hush that follows a profound realization, in the gentle silence shared between friends who need no words to communicate their love. In silence, we listen not only to ourselves but to the world. The rustling of leaves, the distant song of a bird, the soft hum of the earth under our feet. These sounds become prayers, reminders of the sacredness that surrounds us. In silence, we can hear the voice of the divine, not as thunder or proclamation, but as the gentle whisper that guides us home. Throughout history, great teachers have emphasized the power of silence. The Buddha sat in silence under the Bodhi tree until enlightenment dawned. Jesus withdrew to quiet places to pray and reflect. The Prophet Muhammad meditated in the silent cave of Hira before receiving revelation. Each of these figures discovered profound wisdom in the absence of words. Silence is not about shutting out the world. It is about opening up to it in a new way. In the quiet, we become more aware of ourselves, of others, and of the mysteries that surround us. We learn to listen deeply, to perceive the subtle currents of emotion and thought that shape our lives. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, it can be difficult to find silence. But even a few minutes of intentional quiet can have a transformative effect. Sitting in stillness, closing your eyes, and simply breathing can become a powerful ritual. In that moment, you are connected to a tradition that spans continents and centuries, to a form of worship that is as old as humanity itself. Silence rituals are not limited to monasteries or temples. They can be practiced anywhere, in your home, in nature, even in the midst of a busy city. The key is intention. When you choose to be silent, when you turn your attention inward, you are engaging in a sacred act. Silent prayer is not about asking for things or reciting words. It is about being present, about attuning yourself to the deeper rhythms of life. In silence, gratitude arises naturally. Compassion flows without effort. Forgiveness becomes possible. The boundaries between self and other dissolve, and a sense of unity prevails. There is a story from the Native American tradition about a child who asked her grandfather, "Why do we sit in silence before speaking to the spirits?" The old man replied, "Because in silence we remember who we are. In silence we become ready to listen." This wisdom is echoed in spiritual traditions across the globe. Silence is not emptiness. It is fullness, the fullness of presence, the fullness of being. When we enter into silence, we reconnect with the source of life, with the mystery that animates all things. We discover that the answers we seek are not always found in words, but in the quiet spaces between them. As you go about your day, notice the moments of silence that arise naturally. The pause before a decision, the hush of the evening, the quiet after a storm. These are opportunities to engage in silent prayer, to connect with yourself and with the world in a deeper way. You don't need to travel to a distant monastery or attend a retreat to experience the power of silence. You can create your own rituals right where you are. Set aside a few minutes each day to sit quietly, to breathe, to listen. Let go of the need to fill every moment with words or activity. Allow yourself to simply be. In time, you may find that silence is not something to be feared or avoided, but something to be embraced. It is a source of strength, of wisdom, of peace. In silence, you can hear the true voice of your heart, the guidance of your soul, the whisper of the divine. As we explored today, silence is far more than the absence of sound. It is a sacred practice, a form of prayer that transcends words and connects us to the deepest mysteries of existence. Whether through ancient rituals or modern practices, silence remains a powerful tool for transformation, healing, and connection. If you find yourself drawn to the mysteries of silence, consider making it a part of your daily life. Start small. A minute of quiet in the morning, a silent walk in nature, a pause before sleep. Notice how your mind and body respond, how your heart opens in the absence of noise. Remember, the deepest truths are often revealed in silence. The greatest prayers are sometimes those that are never spoken. In the stillness, you may discover a sense of peace, clarity, and connection that words cannot convey. If you enjoy exploring mystical and cultural rituals, if you seek to understand the timeless mysteries of the human spirit, continue to journey with us. Here we quietly uncover the secrets that have shaped humanity for generations, and we invite you to discover the power of silence for yourself. And perhaps one day, in a moment of perfect stillness, you will understand what silence truly is. Not emptiness, but the purest voice of the divine.